from the vault, high atop the pastoral center of the Diocese of Camden, you're listening to Talking Catholic.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Talking Catholic here in the Diocese of Camden, and also to our domestic church media listeners. Welcome back. We're here in the Advent season, just approaching Christmas soon, and I am Kari, Janisse, the coordinator of Youth and Young Adult Ministries at Our Lady of Peace Parish, and I am here with my very good friend, Mike Walsh.
That's right. I am the Director of Communications for the Diocese of Camden and the Associate Publisher of the Catholic Star Herald, our diocesan newspaper, and the longtime co-host of Talking Catholic. But and we're back here again. I feel like we've done, this has been nice. This is what I want to do, is we can't always be in the vault, but I like going out and interviewing more new people, and you do have the nicest, we'll call it the nicest annex of the podcast.
Well, thank you. I like it a lot better than the vault. I'm always scared in the vault. As so many guests have said, you're like, oh no, you're closing the door of the vault.
That's right. It's a big vault
scary
door. I love it. I love the vault door. It's perfect.
How's your Advent going?
As we were driving over here today, I thought to myself, she's going to ask me how my Advent's going, and I'm going to have the exact same answers the last time, which is, I'm not there, but maybe that's a good thing. Hear me out. Maybe that's a good thing.
I'm listening.
Because, we get so wrapped up in, sort of preparations for Christmas that, the Christmas season has gotten longer and longer every year. You start seeing decorations for sale in October. And
oh, no, you're wrong. August.
Oh, well, yeah, that's true.
Hobby Lobby in August, there was like 4th of July stuff on sale, and then next aisle was Christmas. And
the Hallmark stuff, that's out there, or the Hallmark Channel, they have their stuff going around Thanksgiving. And here I've been so focused on work and, doing the Lord's work and as work for the diocese, that maybe that's a good thing. Maybe I'm not ready to start focusing on the Advent season until I'm able to get all this stuff behind me, and I'm going to go, and that last week is going to be my push of things. Like Wednesday, we have Wednesday of this week, probably a week before Christmas, we will be having the Advent Penitential at my parish.
Oh, all right. That's great.
I always like that. I very much enjoy going to confession.
Yeah.
But just as importantly, I like when it's a service, and there's more to it than just confession. It's also, the prayers, an opportunity to stay almost like adoration, be quiet in church and prayerful. And I very much enjoy that. And I'm thinking, because I haven't had that yet, that will be what spurs my Advent.
That's going to make it happen.
That's right. And in a week, when you ask me again how my Advent's going, my Christmas is going, I'll go, oh, it's all better now.
Yes. And we all need that. It's nice that your church carves out that time.
It is.
It's not just, I know a lot of churches offer extra confessions, which is important and good, but actually they have that time set aside to be quiet, to be still, and to actually listen and prepare your hearts a little bit. And it's set out for you. It's not like you have to create it. Like, okay, I'm going to go to confession and then I'll sit in the adoration chapel for a little bit. It's actually come to this service, and we're going to have it carved out right for you. So I like that.
It's funny. Here I am, a servant of the church, somebody who's working in the church, and I have such a difficult time. We talked about this when we had our Advent episode, but I still have such a difficult time sort of finding that focus. Have you been successful? You asked me how my Advent's going. How is your? Have you been successful?
I have and I haven't. So I feel like Advent's here, and everything got super crazy, and from my 1-year-old getting crazy, like I don't know if he knows Christmas. Well, he probably does, but like if he's getting it, that actually we're anticipating Christmas so much that he's getting all crazy because he's just been off the walls. I mean, he was like eating dog food earlier today. I'm like, what are you doing? Put that down. I'm just trying to send an email over here. Like, come on. And then everything with work seems like a lot of extra. I think also I'm trying to use up my vacation days by the end of the year. So for some reason, this doesn't make sense, but it does. Like when you take a vacation day, you actually feel that much more stress the next day coming back in because work piled up, or you missed doing this thing, or this got out of place. So I've actually been feeling a little bit hectic in the midst of it, but I somehow have managed to find a little extra time for prayer and reflection that has been super, super fruitful in my life. So I am thankful for that, because that has been really good during this Advent season. So it's going good on the days that it's good. It's going bad on the days that are crazy.
But I think that's the natural way of life. We were just talking about vacation time at work today, so it's funny you brought that up. But I've kind of gotten away from the idea of my vacation and my work life being two different things. That that in my case, I have to come to grips with the fact that there's perpetual overlap there. That there is
so
no
much.
Yeah, that there is no going away. But that's okay. It's okay that I'm gonna check my email a couple of times a day, and it's okay that I know I'm gonna have to answer things. And in my job, it's okay that something's gonna be on fire somewhere, and I've got to put out a fire.
But you know what? And this is for anybody that works for their church or the diocese. In your case, it's the diocese. For me, it's the church. Is that it's the Lord's work. So in a way, I feel like, you know what, it's okay. Like his work needs to be done, and we're leading people closer to Christ no matter what it is. If it's putting out a fire, for me, if it's helping a youth, if it's emailing a parent, it's answering a phone call, if it's sending out emails, whatever it is, like we are working in the vineyard. So in a way, that's actually, it's a good way to look at it. Like our work is not done. There's no vacation days until we get to heaven, which our mansion will be ready. Let's go.
Retirement and heaven. Those are the two things we should look forward to, because you and I are both in the meat of our careers right now.
We got a lot of time.
Yeah, we got a lot of time before we go anywhere. But yeah, and that's not to say that we shouldn't take time away and that we shouldn't be focused on, like I was very focused in Mass this Sunday, which is rare for me. Sometimes there's so much stuff going on that I find that I lose my focus a little bit, but I was actually very focused, and that was refreshing, and I had that opportunity. But at the same time, it's also good every now and again to put away the phone and just go, I am going to focus on this Christmas movie right now, or in my case, going to see Star Wars the night it opens on Thursday. And I'm going to put away my phone for a little bit. I'm going to enjoy that 3 hours of Star Wars time.
I always think we need our recreational time too. It's all about balance. So.
Yeah, and that's what it is. So stop trying to get all of one and all of the other. Maybe it's how they all come together, and we can all chill together.
I'm ready.
There you go. But that's not what we're talking about today.
No, it's not.
No, we're talking about actually a topic that you've brought up a couple of times on the show in previous episodes, both as our guest and as our host. And I've always wanted to dive deeper into it, because the first time you told me about it blew my mind. It really did. So in Williamstown High School District, or actually both the high school and the middle school, Williamstown School District, there is a program called The Rock, of which you've been a part of for many, many years now.
And we do not collect rocks.
And you do not collect rocks, no.
Because I've gotten asked that before, and that is not the purpose of the club. No, you're
collecting souls.
Exactly.
But no, here it is. It's a Catholic club in a public high school and public middle school, which in today's day and age, where we're used to the constant beating of the drum for separation of church and state, and nobody can pray in school and something like that, the fact that there's a Catholic club in a very large public school district in New Jersey, I was shocked.
Yes.
So we have a couple of guests with us today that we'd like to introduce, and I want to hear about how it all started.
Yeah, so they are all part of the Rock, those that are here today. So we're going to start with the advisors of the two clubs in the Williamstown district that are here.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Mrs. Alfarano. I'm a teacher, very long-time teacher, 25 years at Williamstown High School. We actually started the Rock at the high school. It'll be close to 6 years, I believe, in February. So, and we've been having a great time, and I feel that we've brought a lot of children into the fold, so to speak. We've had not only Catholic children, but also children of all faiths. Teachers sometimes will stop in too and say hello and hang out for a little while. So I really feel that we've been more than a positive influence on our school community.
Beautiful. And we also have our middle school advisor here with us.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Litwinczuk. We're actually in our third year. What's so wonderful is we started in my smaller classroom, went to a larger science classroom, and now we're in an auxiliary space because we average about 70 students a month at the meeting, and 3 or 4 teachers come to try and help us out, and we've heard nothing but good things about it. Actually, some of the kids thought it was a rock thing.
It happens.
Science related, okay? But
and they were pleasantly surprised that it was about God.
Yes. And they keep coming back. I had one kid come to me today, she says, I can't come to the meeting tomorrow. Is that okay? Because I don't know if it's at the high school, but at our school, a lot of kids are involved in student council and builders club and that kind of stuff. And she was like, but I really wanted to be there tomorrow. And it really broke my heart that she thought it was that important to try and be there
beautiful.
tomorrow. I said, well, that's okay. I said, you have a blessed Christmas, and we'll see you in January.
That's so sweet. That'll be
So, I mean, it just, like I said, it really touched my heart that, she felt so concerned that she couldn't be there tomorrow. But, I mean, it's been a great experience. I'm glad Kari roped me into it.
That's great. And we'll talk more about the middle school level for that. And then we have here with us our president.
Hi, I'm Jade Cruz. I am a senior at Williamstown High School, and I've actually been going to the Rock for 4 years now. Not as heavy in my freshman year, but starting midway in my sophomore year, I kind of got more involved as I was getting involved in youth group. And it was honestly one of my best decisions, trying to get more involved, and especially at the public school level, being in a public school where faith is not in any discussions you really have, except in sometimes history or science maybe, but really having that time after school once a month to really focus on your faith with other peers in your school was really helpful for my faith.
Great, yeah. And we'll get more into the meetings that we discuss all those aspects of the faith. And then our last guest here with us is one of our other officers from the high school level.
My name's Jade. I'm in 11th grade at Williamstown High School, and I'm one of the officers at the Rock. And I think I started coming to the Rock in freshman year, and I think it's just a great way to grow deeper in your faith and also make stronger relationships with your friends. And I just always keep coming back, and I enjoy every meeting. So
that's great. Well, thank you guys. Thanks for being here with us. I'm excited to have this conversation. So people might be wondering as they're listening, like, how does a Catholic club start at a public school? And we've actually have branched out to other schools as well, and I'll get into all that. So it's very simple. If you ask, it can happen. And so I was at youth group, and we were having a discussion of faith with some high school girls, and during that discussion, one of them said to me, Kari, like, what you're saying is so good, and so many people in the high school need to hear this information. Can you start a club at my school? And I sat back and I said, can I? You tell me. And she said, well, I don't know. I said, well, I'm not familiar with your school. I didn't go to high school here. I wasn't part of this district. So if you can find out for me how to start a club in your high school, I will go about trying to start the club. And so her and another girl took the initiative and went right to it the very next day, and they found out, how do we start a club? Okay, well, we need an advisor. We need regular meetings. We also need board approval. And so we started to jump through all those hoops to do that. And I was very proactive with it. I started to ask all the youth group members that were part of the youth group at that current time, and this was back in 2013, and I said, can you each write letters to your school district? These are all the Williamstown residents. Can you write letters? And if you write these letters just saying why you want this club to exist. Now, at the time, it wasn't called The Rock. It was just a Catholic club. And so why you want a club of faith to exist in your school and why it's important to you. So we had about, I would say 30 letters written, somewhere around there, 20 to 30 letters, and I had them ready to go. And so we submitted the paperwork. I found Mrs. Alfarano. She was recommended to me by someone else from our parish. She said, there's a science teacher that's in our parish. She comes to 9 a.m. Mass every week. Maybe you can meet and ask her if she be involved. And so I met with her. She started filling the paperwork, right? That's how it went, yeah. And started filling in all the paperwork to get the club set. And so once that went through, the board then said, well, we want to know a little bit more about the club and what's going to happen. And so I met with them, and they just kind of asked me, like, why do you want to do this? And I said, well, I think it'd be good for the students. I think it'd be positive. Many of them are part of our parish that are part of your high school. They're asking for this.
And we did have our doubts. I think we really had our doubts that it was going to go through. We never doubted the Lord. But we did have our doubts because, again, separation of church and state and this day and age. And
people are so sensitive.
It's very, very ultra sensitive about everything, especially when it pertains to public school and a religious organization with it. So,
and they did have her ready, though. I think they
you actually went. You went to the board, and when you spoke to them, it was almost like a miracle transpired.
It really was.
It really was. It was a miraculous thing because
they actually
didn't have our doubts.
They didn't even want the letters. They said, "We're okay with this. This is good."
It was like, this is fine, and that was it.
They did say one thing, and that is, we have to check with our lawyers, which is like
Yes, well,
everybody has
that's-
to cover their cover
your
themselves
stuff.
and to make sure it's good.
Absolutely.
And I guess you received an email, I think, saying it was okay, right?
Yes,
And you forwarded it to me.
Yes, I was pleasantly surprised because I really, again, I hate to say it, but I really did have my doubts because I was fearful that because at first we were kind of getting, not backlash per se, but a little bit of
negativity.
like negativity.
I don't know if this is going to happen, but
I
you
don't
could
know
try.
if it's going to happen, but so I said, well, the worst that could happen is no, and it went through,
right
and
through.
It was
And
wonderful.
They actually even put it up on the website for the town, the K through 12 in town. They put it right up on their
Okay.
website. I remember they said new club meeting,
Yes.
and it was mid-year. It was February. It was our
in
first
February.
meeting, February of 2013. And so mid-year, here we are kicking off this club, which I think is not the norm, right?
No,
at a school,
it's usually September,
right?
sure.
So here we are, and people were like, "Okay, what is this?" And
Teachers were stopping in. And, it was all a buzz.
Yeah, it was,
yeah,
and it was neat
yeah.
because it was like, okay, what are we going to call it? We don't want to scream like the Catholic Club because we
Yes.
also wanted to be
Yeah.
inclusive to like
Right.
anybody
and
is
we
welcome.
do have quite a few students that are non-Catholics, and some don't have a follow a church, or they're not
Right.
involved in their church, and
They're
so it's really a
searching.
good way. Yeah,
They're
they're still searching. Yes.
So I was praying one day and I said, all right, we got this approval, we got the advisor, we got the okay. Like, all right, what are we gonna call this club to like invite kids?
Yeah.
And God is so good. He never fails us, right?
Yeah,
it's like He's
I don't
always there.
remember
Ask, you
how
shall
you came
receive.
up with that. Yeah,
I don't even know if
I'm
you
not
ever
sure.
heard this story.
I'm sure I did, but I just don't
So
remember.
I was praying in church, and I said, God, like, please reveal to me what you would like me to call this club. And there was a verse, I wish I could remember it. It was one of the Psalms. I was just trying to look it up, but I don't have it. And it said something about, you are my rock. And I was like, the rock. And then I was thinking, well, this is not referencing Peter, but what says Catholic Church more than like the lineage of our Pope, our papacy, like from Peter all the way to our current Pope Francis. And
Yes.
so it was a verse from Matthew, you are Peter, upon this rock I will build my church. And that is our verse. That is our motto.
verse. Yes,
so
yes.
that's where it came from, the rock. So kind of it's seen throughout Scripture, Old Testament and New, and then also from referencing Peter, you are Peter upon that rock. So that's where it came from.
Yes,
so God
yeah.
inspired it, and then thankfully I have a background in graphic design, so I was able to like make a cool little logo that looked neat.
And it's really,
works.
and it's pretty too, and you know what, it calls the attention to the rock and to our Lord too, because many times I've gone in the shop, right, because that's
what
the
we
place
do
to
in
go.
town.
That's what we do. And I've seen, people have stopped me and said, oh, that's beautiful, that's on your shirt. And I said, oh yeah, we have a rocket, we have this club at our school and everything. And they're really, that's wonderful, God bless you.
Yeah, because
they're
right on the
really,
shirt
really,
is
they're thrilled about it.
is the
They
verse
really
Matthew
are.
16:18, so people see it and they're
Yes,
like, what
they
is that?
do. They
And
do.
what, can you describe the logo?
Oh, so the T we use as a cross, and it's like kind of designed like a neatly designed cross. The THE with the cross, and then ROCK. It's just this nice solid font. So, and then kind of tucked into the letter of the K, into like the angle letter of the K. I don't know what you call that in font terms, but the K part that goes down
The leg.
the leg
of
the
the,
leg of the K.
It's called
the leg of the K.
is Matthew
yes.
16:18. So it's there.
Very nice.
But at one point, the high school made us remove the verse. Remember, for the one flyer or something. They're
Yeah,
like, you can't hang that
yeah.
up. We're like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
whatever.
So, yeah.
But
Well,
those things
what are you
happen.
gonna
But
do?
we
Yeah,
work
but
with
all
it. We work with it.
We're good. Yeah. we're good.
And
And
yeah.
you've had a good relationship with the school administrations, aside from the relation to the one.
Yeah,
It's
actually,
been
at one
fine,
point,
yeah.
the principal of the high school was a parishioner that reads at Sunday 12 o'clock mass. So that was really great because
That was
she
great,
kind of
yeah,
knew
because
everything
she
going
kinda
on.
Knew everything, and
from
she's
this
been involved in
angle.
our church for a while now. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but then the other administration, like teachers, everyone, it really has been widely accepted. Like I don't know. You're in the high school. Have
I
you
never
seen
hear
any?
anything. I mean,
Yeah.
no one ever says anything negative to me,
Yeah.
and I've never heard anything negative. So
And you kind of are known now for it. Like it's
Yes.
kind of like, all right,
Yes.
Miss Alfarano is the
Yes.
Rock. Like that's. Yeah.
I mean, some people still are like, what do you mean The Rock?
Mm-hmm.
You mean the guy in the movies?
Yeah, I've gotten
No,
that
not
too.
him.
Yeah.
That's not a bad.
Yeah, it's not a get.
Hey.
Ride his coattails.
Yeah,
There you go.
Yeah,
yes,
he's
All right.
cool. He's tough.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah.
Are there other faith-based clubs in Williamstown?
There is. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting.
There was one time the athletic one, the students.
Yes, and I believe that's still in existence. I'm not sure how much
active
how active it is right now, because I know there's been a lot of people in and out. So
I would imagine like any other.
Not FTA. Is it FTA? I'm sorry.
Okay.
I apologize. I forget what it. FCA.
You guys know?
I think it might be the Fellowship of Christian
Christian
Athletes.
Athletes. There you go.
FCA.
Thank you.
No, I've been out of high school so long,
my
so
mind.
that was.
Yeah, I knew it was the initials.
We just
I couldn't remember.
ask the kids that are part of the high school. Why didn't we think of that first?
So, and that's been around for many years.
Yeah,
actually.
and that's one that's
that
at
is
many
a
high
nationwide.
schools.
That's a nationwide thing.
That even goes to the pro level too. That is, they're around as well. I'm actually a little surprised that there's not like a Muslim one or a Jewish one or even Pentecostals. Really, just the Catholics ahead of the curve.
Yeah,
well
I guess
done,
so.
All right, I like that.
We try,
right.
and we succeed. We're great, and it's actually like right in the first year that it was formed, other youth ministers that I work with in the diocese were saying, "What is this that you're doing?" Like, kind of caught wind of it, and it started to expand to other high schools. So I believe right now there's active chapters in Washington Township High School and Clearview, run by other youth ministers, not myself. And then it also spread to a couple Catholic high schools within the diocese. So it started to just kind of branch out to be different chapters. So all in all, they're not all active currently, but I think we were up to like 8 or 9 chapters, which is really cool.
Wow. That's outstanding, actually. I hope it continues to expand. Everyone should contact the administrators and yourself, Kari, to find out more.
Yeah, I actually made a little handbook because people were starting to ask me, like, how did you get it started? So I made like a 10-page handbook. This is how we got it started. This is the logo. This is why we do what we do. This is where you can go on the web.
A manual for everybody else. Yes.
So, Kari, if people wanted to get in touch with you about how to do that, how would they get in touch with you?
Oh, youthministerkari@gmail.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think we've given out your details before.
Well, there it is.
There you are. So I guess the next question then, so that's how it forms. So how do these two young, fresh-faced students end up deciding to join?
Well, I was a 8th grader in middle school, and I was an altar server. I still am an altar server at my church, and I was just looking around clubs, trying to get involved, and being that nervous little incoming freshman, I saw The Rock and a faith-based club at the school. So I was starting to ask around about it. I found out it was actually a Catholic club at the school. So I was like, I'll join that. So I went to the first meeting, and I thought it was amazing. And I went to the next one. I think I missed a few in the freshman year here and there because of sports. But then sophomore year came around, and I just kind of got more involved, and I would go even if it was just like the first 10 minutes. I was just there showing my face and trying to be a little bit present and involved, at least the best I could. I was there, and then I decided to run for vice presidency. What happened, and I got it, and that was my junior year.
Right?
And then senior year I was like, well, go big or go home, so I ran for president, and I ended up getting that as well. And now today I actually wasn't even supposed to be here until I asked my coach, hey, there's no meet tomorrow, so can I go do this podcast? He was like, yeah, sure, do what you got to do. So
that's very kind of him.
I'm very grateful to be here right now. So
I got news for you. My wife is a competitive swimmer. She will not be happy that you left swim practice to come on my podcast. So I'm going to go home today and get a talking to.
God always wins.
Swimming is always above everything else in my wife's world. And Jade, what about you?
So I kind of found out when I was like really young, like somewhere around like 6th grade. Because I have an older brother. He's a senior in college now. He went to The Rock too, and he was also the president of The Rock too. So I was like, I have to follow in his footsteps because he's very deep in his faith. So I was like, I have to come to The Rock. I graduated from St. Mary's in 2017. So I was like going to high school, I was like, this could be a hard transition, going from like a small Catholic school where we always pray, going from St. Mary's to a big school where I don't know anybody. I was lost the first couple days, but I finally found where to go. So I was like, I wanted to kind of go deeper in my faith more and kind of be able to pray in a public school where I can also like bring other people to the club. So I get a lot of people asking me questions about it and wanting to come.
Well, that's the key. Are people talking about it and people talking to you? As a PR guy, I love to hear that stuff.
Yeah, and it's opened up a lot of opportunities too for not just okay, come to our meeting after school, but I have been blessed to be the keynote speaker at the baccalaureate for 2 different years at
Wow.
the senior year baccalaureate. So that was really a blessing because they're like, we need, someone who's into their faith to give this keynote speech. So that kind of got the word out for people that were maybe not involved in our club. And then we've done a few other things. I've done the prayer before. I think you have done a few things in the school, maybe in the high school, as like the rock person. We have your
Well, actually, I'm sorry. I forgot about this. It's really important. Every Wednesday morning, we do have a small prayer group. All are invited to come, and we're just ladies, mostly. One gentleman comes, and all faiths, all Christian faiths, and we pray together. We pray for each other. We pray for our community. And it's really uplifting, and all are invited. A few years back, we actually had a few students that would come in early to school and come and pray with us too. So that's really a big blessing too.
And we've done
for us to have
the prayer at the flag. See you at the flagpoles
we've
before
had that
as well.
Right,
National Day of Prayer.
We have.
So we kind of have been that face of faith in the high school.
Yes.
And then quickly into the middle school, right? So that was just
That's just great.
Just 3 years ago that it started at the middle school, right? And that was with you.
We had tried earlier after you guys got board approved at the high school, and it was different administration, and they were looking at different sort of faith-based programs, and they were trying different things out. And when the administration changed, we went back in, and was like, of course. So we had the easy road. They had the hard road because she didn't
And it
need
wasn't
any
even
more,
that hard. It was
no
just
more
like,
board approval because it was all board approved.
Yeah.
And it's just, like I said, it's just grown from there. The 5th grade teachers are amazing. We do the 5th grade orientation. I just had 2 teachers last week call me for extra applications because the kids have heard from their friends and they want to come tomorrow.
Wow.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And it's I'm like, here, I'll just send a bunch over and you can have them. And apparently the guidance counselor is talking about it too when we have new entrants
Oh, wow.
to let them know about the rock. So like I said, I think that's
that's awesome.
that's just amazing, that we can spread the word and bring them in. And
so the middle school is 5th through 8th grade.
yes,
at our middle school.
Not a normal middle school, but because of land constraints, we started 5th grade. And Jared and Jade and a bunch of other high school kids come all the time and help out with the young ones. And I didn't really know Jared when he was in 8th grade. He was in a different corps. But now it's nice to see them come and help out the kids.
Yeah, so it's like a built-in service opportunity for the high school students to help with the middle school.
And it's not like they don't feel like they have to do it to get service. They want to be there and help out these little kids, and they can be a handful.
They're middle schoolers. We love them, but they have a lot of energy.
So I guess one of the questions is, what do the clubs do throughout the year? We've touched on a couple of things, but is there a curriculum to it? So what about at the middle school? Like, how do you?
I think we kind of follow what the high school does, but at a lower level. We just had a big Thanksgiving thing where they tape little messages on candy and give them out at the end of the day. And like promoting our club, but saying, be thankful. Like that, you have to be very careful about the wording. That it doesn't say, God or the Lord or something like that. But it is like, be thankful for what you've got in your life. And the high school kids and some of the middle school kids all man the exit doors because we must have about 15 of them. And
there's about 2,000 students.
Yeah, we're just under 2,000. Yeah,
and we make one for everybody. So it was a lot of. It was like an assembly line, creating them at one of our meetings and then getting them bagged up and ready to go for handing out the Wednesday before the Thanksgiving break. And it's a nice little takeaway for them to see what the rock is. And I think it's an evangelization tool as well, because it does say, we're here for you. We invite them to the next meeting as part of the little message that's on there as well.
Like I said, this year I think we really hit a lot of 5th graders at the orientation. We had maybe 10 to 12 sign up.
Wow.
Before school even started.
Yeah.
They took the information and signed up, and they've been coming. And I just thought that was really amazing that they must have heard about it from somebody else and moved forward with it.
I get emails all the time from parents asking, like, how do I sign up? How does my child get involved? Like, where's the permission form? So we do get that a lot.
What about the high school level? What is a classic
A typical
club?
Well, every
afternoon?
month is actually
It's monthly?
planned out. It's a monthly thing.
We try to do
something either like
we
today.
tried to be closer. Like there's a time and period where we did every other week. But
Right.
it just was a lot, and it was a lot for the students.
So now it's
monthly work.
a monthly meeting works because the kids are always so involved with sports and everything. It's difficult for them to make all those meetings. Today we had one of our deacons come and speak for us for the kids and us. About the true meaning of Christmas, and the kids got to answer some questions, ask questions, answer. We also, had some snacks out and cookies, things of that nature, So it was a little bit of a Christmas party too. It was fun, and one of our deacons comes. He's come quite often, and he's just a joy and a blessing. He's really great with the kids, so they love when he's there.
Which deacon is this?
Deacon Jim Hallman.
Oh,
who
one of my
has been-
favorites.
He's been a guest
Deacon
on.
Jim.
I love Deacon Jim Hallman.
Yeah, I think this is his second or third time maybe coming to speak.
At least second, possibly
Yes, at
third.
at least.
Well, I mean, he was one of the greatest priest or deacon chaplains for the prison system.
Oh, wow.
A prison
I
chaplain.
didn't know that.
So
I
I'm
wasn't
not
aware.
shocked at all that
Yeah.
he worked great with
so he's great
school
with kids. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
It's kind of like the same thing, right?
Prison chaplaincy. Chaplaincy to the high school kids.
And the kids are good because some of them do have to go other places, and they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I have to leave."
Or
They
they
feel
come
really
for a little
bad.
bit, and then
Or
they
they come for a little bit,
sneak
they
out the
slide
back.
out, but they've been really good. But anyway, I know we did what the middle school did the last few years as far as the Thanksgiving messages, but this year we tried something a little bit different. We had a not a fundraiser, but a collection of blankets and socks new for a pediatric facility in South Jersey. So we were able to get quite a bit. I felt good about it that we
awesome.
did.
Yeah.
It takes a little while, but the kids and teachers alike really stood up and did a good thing. They really did a lot. We had quite a few donations. Halloween is really good for us too because we
yes.
Our school has haunted high school, which allows the community to come in and walk through our hallways, and
They trick or treat through the hallways.
Basically,
Really?
it's trick or treating
I love that.
at the school from
It's
4 to
so
6.
fun.
And the kids love it. It's up to like age 10, I believe, 10, 11 years old. Parents
And
bring their
it's-
kids through.
They bring a
and
canned good for the food
bring a
pantry in
canned
town
good for-
as
right,
the entrance fee.
Oh, that's a good deal.
As a fee, and people love it. I hate
Do you
to say it, but
guys
a lot
dress
of people
up?
don't even.
Yes.
I do a
Oh,
little
yeah, I
bit.
always do.
What did you dress up this year?
Carrie's more of the
Well, our hallway theme is so
theatric lady, I should say.
being a Catholic club, we're like, okay, we can't be like scary. There's scary hallways and fun hallways, different themes.
So ours
is carnival themed, so it's kind of fun. So for years,
Oh, that's nice.
yeah. So it's like
kids
we have
love
games
it.
along the hallway, and then cotton candy machine, popcorn machine, and candy. So it's like it's the hallway. to
Wow.
me. It's a really
That's
cool
cool.
It
hallway.
gets backed up. Let's
Yeah.
put it that way.
And,
It's a place to
we
be.
have face
Yes.
painting too. I forgot about
Face
that.
painting,
yeah.
which the girls
That was
still
great.
do a phenomenal
So-
job with that. Yes.
For years, I was the stilt walker in that hallway because I haven't said this on air yet, but I run an entertainment business as well. And one of my qualities and aspects of that business is being a stilt walker. So, in addition
And
to
the
being
floor
a youth
is on a
minister.
tilt too.
Yeah,
by
so
the
it's-
way.
And you're
That
still
she-
like,
while
it's
she
very
walks on,
dangerous
just so you know.
and fun at the same time.
Yes.
With tons of kids walking through. But we've done all right.
Take lots of pictures. Yes.
Yeah, because the parents are just like, wow, take a picture with this lady, so cool. So I've been stilt walker for many years, but the last 2 years I themed myself to go around my son's theme, which was Toy Story for the past 2 years because he was Woody and then Buzz. So I was Jessie for 2 years in a row, and I walked
And
around
a great
with him.
one she was. Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
so it was fun.
Uh-huh.
And then when he left after he did the trick or treating part, I was still Jessie. So it was just, I actually took pictures with some of the kids too because they were Woody or Buzz, and the parents were like, "Oh, look, take a picture with Jessie." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Okay, fun."
It's a great thing, and
it's a huge service
it's a
aspect for the entire high school. school.
service, for the whole school, and I know the kids really love it. And what else did we do?
I was going to ask some of these guys what their favorite meetings are, because we have some really fun ones. We have speakers, we have service.
Too.
Yeah, we have kind of the whole gamut.
So some of the fun meetings that we do is we have like a Easter egg or a Easter egg hunt kind of, like a scavenger hunt, and inside I have like gift cards in it. So like Wawa, Dunkin', and all that stuff.
I like that. I gotta come.
That's one of my favorite meetings. And then we do we make Irish potatoes, which is also a fun meeting. A lot of people come for that. So
anyone who's listened to previous episodes of the podcast and heard me talk about Irish potatoes, we'll just gloss over that. I hate Irish potatoes. I don't know why. I'm Irish and I never developed a taste for Irish potatoes. It's the weirdest thing.
Does it even have anything to do with being Irish?
Not really.
I don't know.
There's a reason for it, but it's coconut. I'm not a coconut guy.
Yeah,
that's what
we make them with or without coconut, because a lot of the high schoolers do not
I
like
have
coconut.
never had a non-coconutted.
Your life will be changed.
Now I'm coming back once again. All right, I like it.
And we do that in conjunction with St. Patrick's Day, because we talk about St. Patrick too. So it's kind of a little faith aspect, the fun aspect.
Well, that just listening to you guys so far, that seems to be the effect I've been seeing, is that it's almost this guerrilla style faith. So you're a club and you're being very active, but you're showing without proclaiming your faith, which I know can be a problem in public schools, you're showing your faith and sort of just casually and subtly bringing people in to be a part of it. I think that's an outstanding way of getting the message across in an environment that would otherwise be difficult to get that across. What about you, Jared?
Some of my favorite meetings, the first one's actually one of my favorite because, not to mention the free ice cream. I could really go for ice cream any day. But really, it's just you're coming back from summer and you're seeing all of the friends that you haven't seen since June last year, and you're now kind of regathering in your faith, and you're starting this new school year in the Rock and making sure it's through God. And that's one thing I really find important, because you can't get through anything difficult without God. And some kids might be going through their freshman year, which is tough and stressful for a lot of them. Some of them might be going through junior year, which for me was my hardest year, or senior year just finishing out, and now they're also these big role models, which when I was a freshman, I saw these seniors and juniors that were up there, and I looked up to them, and now I realize that I'm in that position, and being at that first meeting to welcome all these kids is amazing. But actually, the next meeting we have in January, I'm really excited for, because we are having a Catholic Mass, and we're actually yes,
we're doing it.
Wow, in the building.
Yes, right on at the table.
Is shocking and beautiful and wonderful.
It's Father Mass is coming in. He's going to do an explanatory mass, and
that's good.
we're like, let's see how this goes. It's going to be great.
I think that's outside, because that was actually one of my questions. We've been talking a lot, and we were saying about how there's not like an overt spirituality to the club, but I have to imagine there is a spiritual nature.
Yeah.
Just bluntly, do you pray as part of the club? Like
yes.
in the school?
Yeah. Do you want to talk about how our meetings flow a little bit with
so when we come in for the meeting, we usually just have that time to grab snacks and drinks and talk to your friends, and then we'll kind of gather together and we'll open off with a prayer, and we usually have a candle that we light, and somebody in the club will hold it, and one of the officers will say a prayer. It doesn't really matter who, but one of the officers will start off with a prayer, and then if we have a guest speaker, we'll introduce a guest speaker, or sometimes it's just Kari talking, or we have an event going on, or we're preparing the gift boxes like we did back in, I think it was November. So we prepared the gift boxes then, so it wasn't really a speaker, but today I introduced a speaker, Deacon Jim Hallman, and then the speaker will go on or whatever we do, and at the end then we gather again for prayer, or we reflect on what we learned, and we always open and close with prayers. That's the biggest part.
Yeah, and I think the biggest aspect of that is that to be all inclusive, I always say, or one of the officers say, this is our time for prayer, but if you're not Catholic, we'll make the sign of the cross. If you're not Catholic, fold your hands, or just be quiet, be respectful. And everybody always is. We could have 70 middle schoolers there, and they are all quiet, respectful. And we tell them, put your snacks down, put your drinks down. We're giving this time to God right now. And they're great. And a lot of times with the middle school especially, because they always are really just, it's funny, like middle schoolers have a whole lot more to say than high schoolers. High schoolers are quiet. They sit there. I'm like, guys, loosen up. It's cool. The middle schoolers, they got, calm down, guys. And so I let them interact in the prayer where I say, like, are there any intentions? Just raise your hand and we'll mention them. And they all, are praying for somebody, their teachers, their friends, their tests coming up. So it's really neat to hear their hearts open up during that time of prayer. We did something 2 meetings ago in the middle school where, because I knew it's not all Catholic, I didn't want to make it like, again, I try to be mindful that we have other people that are not Catholic in the club. And we said, if you want to stay after for 15 minutes, we're going to teach you the rosary, because the meeting was geared towards a talk that the one teacher from the middle school had a devotion to Fatima, and she talked about that, to Our Lady of Fatima, in her talk. And so she mentioned the rosary. So I said, well, if anybody wants to learn the rosary after the meeting, stay 15 minutes. And so we had a handful of kids stay and learn the rosary. So it was really neat to add that, extra prayer at the end. And we prayed it after they learned it. We prayed a decade together. We didn't pray the whole rosary because it was only about 15 minutes we stayed. But
it's funny. I'm listening to you talk about inclusivity, and sometimes I know you always hear about the importance of diversity. Sometimes inclusivity gets a bad rap because people might suggest that a club like this is, instead of being Catholic, it's being ecumenical, which I don't necessarily consider a bad word, but some people do. And for those people, I would ask them to think about the importance of Christ's mission on earth, who he brought his message to, and brought them to God. And you look at the apostles; they were a various group of people, and the disciples that came after him, another various group of people. You have Paul, someone who was actively, or Saul at that time, was actively, persecuting Christians at that time, and Jews at that time. No, Christians, well, whoever. Sadly, not a theologian.
That's okay.
I get so screwed up. Anyway, but my point being is that I think that's a good thing, because I think we need, Christ asks us to bring the faith to the many, to everybody. So it's good that this club is set up in a way that it's open and inviting to bring people to God. Ultimately, it
is. And I always say too, like, is open and inviting, but we don't hide our Catholic faith.
Right, you don't sugarcoat it.
We don't. We in an opening prayer, we'll end with a Hail Mary. Like, there's no really holding back on that, which I think is great. And the other great thing that has come from it is we've actually had 2 people finish their sacraments. One become completely Catholic from the club, and one finish her sacraments of communion and confirmation. Alicia Foreman, she was on here at an episode earlier, and it was only because she came to the Rock, because she liked being involved in clubs, and it was another club to be involved in. So we've had people come to the faith through it, which has been another great fruit of it. You can judge something by its fruits. You'll know from its fruits how it is. Have
you generated any seminarians or women religious yet? Got anybody any irons in the fire in that area?
We have one currently discerning. She was our first secretary, and she's now currently seeking out discernment in with the CFR. So she's working towards that, and we've had a few past seminarians as a part of it. So yeah, we've run the gamut with that.
Well, that's good. I mean, ultimately, we've talked to one of our past guests, Father Michael Romano, who was the vocations director for the Diocese of Camden, and now he's the director of admissions for the North American College in Rome, which is the major seminary for Americans and Australians. We found out in Rome.
Oh, wow!
And he's often talked about the importance of, Father Romano, that is, have talked about the importance of what we can do for people, and even people who might, guys who might discern the seminary and then decide that it isn't for them, which is a beautiful thing. It's a wonderful thing if somebody goes to seminary and realizes, oh, nope. Turns out it's not for me.
Part of the discernment.
Part of the discernment goes the other way. But you know what you always know? That is going to be a Catholic gentleman for life. That is someone who understands the faith very deeply. I happen to be friends with a couple of former seminarians, and each and every one of them that I've ever met have some of the strongest faiths I've ever come across. So I tell everyone that, these are opportunities for really learning about yourself, and naturally going closer to God, but particularly at this age, as young people who, don't know everything, and me who routinely proves on this podcast that I don't know everything or anything sometimes, the ability to come together and have these conversations are really important. And the fact that you've been able to pull that off in a public middle school and a public high school, it just blows me away. And that it seems to be very beloved. to our two young students here, have you ever felt any sort of pressure about any negative space about being part of the Rock? Has anyone ever besmirched your reputation?
I haven't actually felt any negative feelings. I've had people, when I wear my shirt or sweatshirt to school that says The Rock, they ask me, or like, what does that quote mean, or like, what club is that? And I do also get that, oh, do you guys collect rocks? But it's usually my friends that are just joking around with me.
That's so
But
weird.
I just explain to them, yeah, we're a faith-based club, or I'll talk to my teachers about it, and I'll say I have a club after school, The Rock, and they're like, oh, is that faith-based or the Catholic one? I'm like, yes, it is. So I call it a faith-based club to other people, but when I'm going to my friends, I know that they're Catholic, whatever, I'll say, like, oh, it's a Catholic club.
That's honestly, that's how it should be done. Mm-hmm. You don't want to. You have something good right now, right? You don't want to expose it in a way that would generate any negativity, because it's had so much positivity. Yes. Mm-hmm. And I think there's a strong wisdom to that I give everybody in this room credit for. How about you, Jade?
I mostly don't really get any negative comments. I mostly get positive. We're actually just walking the hallway going to the Rock meeting today, and one of the teachers said, oh, you have a Rock meeting today? I said, yeah. She said, oh, have fun and have a good Christmas and stuff. So I was like, oh, that's nice. Like, teachers like know about it. They say it on the announcements every morning. So yeah, it's really great.
And she said, have a nice Christmas.
Yes, it like opens the door that you're allowed to say this now. I give you permission to say Merry Christmas, not Happy Holidays.
Is that something you've actually brought up in your Rock?
In the club? You know what? I think in the past, this year it didn't come up. We just came from the Christmas meeting, and there was a lot going on. We had to collect the boxes from those donations that we got all in the past month. We had a little game we played, a little fun icebreaker, because usually we just kind of go right into the meeting. I was like, they're always so used to sitting at the desk, and now they're sitting at the desk more. So we played a game, and then we went right into deaconism. So it didn't come up today, but I think in the past, I know always with the youth, I encourage them, like, say Merry Christmas.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel comfortable saying Merry Christmas?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
How about you?
I do. I actually was getting gas at Wawa yesterday, and the gas attendant, when I was leaving, was like, have a good Christmas. So I was like, I wish I gave him like a huge tip, whatever. I just felt really happy leaving there. But I have no problem. I try to say Merry Christmas. I really don't like saying Happy Holidays or anything about the holiday season. I always like to use the word Christmas.
That's wonderful to hear. I like that. See, you're bringing your good, strong Catholic credentials to these young children.
It's honestly what it's about. Really is. It's like, if they can understand the faith now, it's only going to lead them into their young adult and then eventually adult years with a deeper faith. Yeah.
I'm curious, if the Rock didn't exist, right? Perish the thought. If the Rock didn't exist, like, how would you ordinarily I realize this might be difficult for you to consider an answer to, but how do you think you would have kept up your Catholicism beyond the Sunday Mass?
Well, I would just really get involved in youth group. Youth group, you can only go so far. You have more a variety of people that are homeschooled or that go to Catholic schools or different public schools that you end up becoming friends with. So, but having that Catholic club at the actual public school that you go to is very different, because you can come out of school, you had 3 tests that day, and you feel like you failed 2 of them, and one of them you don't even know how to put your name on the paper. So you're just coming back. You're coming back stressed out, and the Rock just happens to be on that Monday, and you come in, and then you just have that faith, and you're leaving school more relieved. Whereas the youth group, we have either Sunday evenings or Thursday evenings here at this parish. So sometimes it's very different. I don't want to say that I'd prefer one over the other, but if I didn't have the Rock at the high school, I would definitely be going to youth group a lot more. But I would not want to have that thought of not having it.
How about you, Jade? What do you think you'd be doing?
Especially in high school, it's kind of like hard. You're going to go through those like tough times. Mm-hmm. So definitely having my faith in the Rock is definitely helping me stay on that right path, not to like fall away from my faith. And I just kind of not want to fall away from it. So I kind of thank goodness the Rock, we have the Rock, because I would definitely be struggling. But
as you guys are going to be down the road looking towards college and things like that, I'd encourage you to make sure you definitely search out your Newman House and your Catholic Campus Ministries, because
I encourage that as well.
Yeah. it's something that, as I have a coughing fit right now.
It's something that definitely can keep your faith growing through high school, and beyond high school into college. Any Newman House is great, and I could say I'm a product of the Newman House, and I spoke about that before. Yeah, it's great, and I know even if you don't go to a Catholic college, at least there are a lot of public campuses where you can be involved in your faith and campus ministry. So that's really great.
Is that where a lot of yours started? Actually, when over the Newman House or at Rowan?
At Rowan,
correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So for our teachers that are here, what has the Rock really meant to you in your years? I know. So I guess I could say publicly, both of you are due for retirement in the next few years.
Yes,
so we're going to be changing over hands and actually both levels, high
Changing
school first, and then middle school and a few years later. So
it's going to be a little bit bittersweet for me, especially because we started it, at our school, and I'll miss you. Hopefully you'll miss me a little bit. I always called Kari the figurehead because she really does do all the work, and I kind of smile and wave.
You do all the background work.
Yeah,
like
I'll
high
do
school.
like the paperwork stuff and the business end of it, I guess, so to speak. But she's just a joy. Not to be too mushy, but she's just a joy for me and for the kids too, because when you have Christ's light, you show it, your persona.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
And it really does come, and I think that's what really brought on the whole club anyway. The way you present yourself, and the light of Christ comes out in you, and you could say it.
Thank you for that. I appreciate that. And of course, you're going to truly be missed when you leave this year, but we are doing great things this year to kind of savor every moment of you being around, which is going to be, again, bittersweet for us too. But I know we're really thankful that there are other teachers that are willing to pick up the reins when you move on to retirement, which you've earned. So we're happy for you. And how about Mrs. Litwinczuk?
Well, heading here, I was just thinking about, how people feel so comfortable growing from 30, not even 30, probably 20.
At the first meeting,
the first
few
year,
meetings, yeah.
And now we're close to 80.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just amazing that they all feel so comfortable, and they're all saying, come to this meeting. And we've got, 4 teachers that show up every time.
So many teachers
and another parent who's very involved in this parish. She comes and helps out when she can. So it's nice that, I was kind of thinking wow, this will all be over next year.
But we're also thankful we'll have other people there.
But I'm also thinking, maybe I'll put it out there on the line. I can show up once a month.
Oh yeah,
I don't have to come back to school.
True.
Right? Yeah,
hey,
right.
For both
Yes.
of you.
But
Great point.
like Mrs. Alfarano said, she runs the thing. We just kind of do the behind the scenes paperwork. Okay, she tells us what's going to go on, and we're doing everything. But I mean, the kids feel really comfortable with her. The teachers, and the one teacher, she wears her
scapular.
No, but I'm saying her hoodie.
Oh, the hoodie, yeah.
All the time. And she's in the cafeteria when there's no lunch detention. And the kids are like, oh, when's the next meeting? When's the next meeting? So, I mean, she's made an impression, and she poured her heart out that one time at the meeting.
It's a beautiful story.
And, it was really nice.
And
the
that
kids,
connects them to, this is my teacher, and she's real, and she has her faith that has guided her.
And like I said, she's in the 8th grade cafeteria, so even if she's not their teacher, they see her, and they feel comfortable about what she said, and they were very respectful and very, they really listened to what she was saying.
Yeah, they did. You could hear a pin drop in that room, and there was
which doesn't happen
70
that
kids.
often.
No, it doesn't.
No matter what the age.
It doesn't. No, and you know what? I always think about it. It's when it comes from God, it works, and it truly came from God. It really did. It came from a student asking us to start a club, and that I really believe that was the Holy Spirit speaking through her, and here we are 6 years later and expanded into multiple schools.
Well, I really hope people who have listened to this podcast, both in the South Jersey area and statewide on domestic church media, really think about if this is something that would fit in their local public school. It sounds I know we have public school teachers who listen to this program, and I know we have DREs who listen to it, and youth ministers. If this is something that sounds intriguing to you, I think Kari has proven that the system works, and it is possible to make something like this happen. You just need to have someone who's particularly dedicated. Talk to the people in the schools who know what they're doing, and can make a club like this happen. And take your time and be smart about it, but it's a very doable process.
Absolutely, yeah, it is. So I encourage you all to pray on it, and if the Lord and the Holy Spirit is moving you, please reach out to me for more information. Again, it's Youth Minister Kari, Kari @gmail.com. I'd be more than happy to guide you in that.
All right. Well, thank you all for coming and joining us this morning.
Thank you guys for being here.
The lounge. We'll call this the lounge, and the other one's the vault.
It's the youth group lounge. Thank you all for being here, and God bless you guys. Enjoy the Christmas octave. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.